Everybody's panicking that Bitcoin is going to crash. In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly why. You don't need to be panicking. Everybody panics at the bottom. I'm also going to be covering all of the latest crypto news. We have a lot to cover in today's video. So if you do enjoy, smash the like, smash the subscribe, leave a comment, and let's continue on. One of the first things that I do want to cover right here is the reality of crypto investing. Let's see, if you were to lose 10% of your portfolio, it would actually take 11% gain. A lot of people here actually lost, say, 50% of their portfolio in this last crypto liquidation using too much leverage. And what that actually means is for you to get back to the level of your original portfolio, you need to gain 100%. Your portfolio needs to double. So it just shows how losses really cripple you in investing, because to get back to your original investment, even a 40% loss takes nearly 70% gain. Next, where are we in this overall bull market? It's clear to me personally that we're in a bear trap because we really haven't had that fear of missing out, that euphoria. We haven't had the phase that gold has actually gone through. Let me just quickly cover the price of gold. Gold on the weekly chart is now beginning to go through its euphoria phase. With my trading strategy, I'm always loving really what I like to call an exhaustion bar when we have the largest and biggest bar late in a trend. Right now, that's happening for gold. We're having a massive exhaustion. And we really haven't had this type of move yet in Bitcoin and all the other cryptos market, because when we look at the overall price and we compare it to this chart, where is this last massive spike where prices, everybody feels like Bitcoin's just going to go to 150,000 to 200,000, that euphoria phase that we all felt if you were here back in 2017, if you were here back in 2021. We just haven't had that phase yet. So it seems quite clear to me, especially with some analysis that I will cover later on in the video, that we still have that last blow-off phase to continue to the upside. Another interesting post that I do want to cover here is this particular person on X actually buying $250,000 worth of nickels. Now, you might say, how does this relate to crypto? Now, this story to me personally makes a lot of sense and can definitely be applied to crypto. Now, he actually bought $250,000 worth of physical nickels. Why? Because each of these nickels is made 75% of copper, 25% of nickel. So overall, it actually has some face value if you were to melt down this currency. So here he talks about the actual modern nickel sits right here at, basically 5 cents. So right here, it's roughly 90 to 95% of the face value. And over time, if the US dollar was to lose value and the overall inflation begins to kick in on commodities like copper and nickel, then this 90 to 95% can easily be outweighed, where it potentially doubles or even triples in price. But the best thing is since it's, US currency, you're never going to lose value on it. You can always bring it back to the bank and just exchange it for that original $250,000. Now, obviously, you'll lose that value in inflation. Say you held it for 10 years, and you're obviously losing money to inflation. But what I'm trying to point out here is basically looking for risk-free bets. That's what we're trying to look for in crypto, where we risk a really small amount and we basically only have upside, because in this trade here, there's no downside. You're only holding the original face value, and you can always trade that back in for the original $250,000. Obviously, again, you're going to lose a bit of money to inflation, but there's basically no downside and only possible upside as the US currency gets debased and as inflation begins to kick in with all these commodities. So to me, it makes a lot of sense. And what I'm always trying to apply this type of strategy to crypto, where I'm basically looking for risk-free money or as close to that type of bet. Now, coming over to the Bitcoin chart, what I really want to point out is everybody panics at a bottom. Here, what I've done is I've extended just a basic trend line from 2023 bottom all the way up to our current small bottom in 2025. I'm also using the logarithmic scale, which is super important. So I want you to also do this for yourself and actually use this logarithmic scale, because it actually makes more sense, and this trend line lines up perfectly. Everybody's panicking at these lows back in 2023, even here, 2024, early 2025, and even now, everybody's panicking. But when we see this trend line, it's just showing that we're in a strong uptrend, and we're just having some small declines to the downside. Even this current small price decline, all we've done is just retest this trend line, and then using one of my favorites, the Fibonacci retracement, coming from this small little low, extending it up. All we've basically done is do a small 0.5 or 50% retracement back to the Fibonacci trend midline. Another thing I'm always mentioning in all my videos is when price goes below the 20 EMA, especially on the weekly, these are buying opportunities. We can scroll out and see every single time prices come below this 20 EMA on the weekly chart. This has always been a strong buying opportunity. We're seeing another one now. There's no reason to be bearish yet on crypto. We haven't had that final euphoria phase. We haven't even seen altcoins have their final euphoria phase. We only saw coins like Ethereum just reach back at their old all-time high and then just sell off. They just peaked above and just sold off. Really, this isn't the end of the bull trend just yet. I'm still quite bullish on a lot of cryptos, but what it's really shown this last liquidation event is that Bitcoin, probably Ethereum and Solana plus stablecoins are really the kings of crypto, and all these other altcoins really are sort of vaporware. They don't really have much value. And even there's not enough liquidity on exchanges, because we've seen all these coins drop 50, 60, even some drop more than 80%. You know, Bitcoin only dropped 10%. Even Solana dropped something like 20%. Same with Ethereum. One thing that really points out is there's only a few kings in crypto, and everything else is really just for either high risk or extremely short-term trading. So here I'm always using Bitcoin as my main macro asset, and then, you know, looking for those shorter-term time frame quick trades on smaller altcoins. So there's my analysis. There's the latest crypto news for today. If you have enjoyed the video, smash the like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.